Ayham, I wanted to have you go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Ayham Tibi. I'm from Syria. I've been here for 25 years. I'm a businessman, and at the same time, I consider myself one of the Free Syrian Army soldiers in the United States, trying to help as much as possible to free our country.
We recently spoke with your daughter about the clothing drive she's been working on. Will you tell us a little bit about how that started?
It was an idea. Najah started with it with her friend, and they decided to do something small for the children of Syria, all the refugees. There were thousands of them. It was like some kind of small things they want to do event, and it became suddenly huge. We got a lot of response from Syrian and American as well, and some other different type of people from different nationality to help out the children. So it started as a blanket and a coat drive. It became like full clothing, and we have sent 2 containers so far, and we are working on the 3rd one as well.
Was it just you and your daughter that chose to get involved, or did your entire family decide to help out too?
Well, it started with Najah and me, and then the whole family jumped in, and a lot of friends, they jumped in as well. And so as other strangers, they came to help us as well. As soon as they heard about it, and they knew the cause of it, for the children, men and women in Syria, all the refugees, the thousands of them that they fled the country, and they are in some kind of camp on the border between Syria and Turkey. So they escaped from the Syrian military, from the Assad regime, into Turkey, but they're not really in Turkey. So they have no really clothing, no blankets, nothing. Just they are basically outside the border.
Is the response that you've gotten for the clothing drive what you expected?
It's better.
It's better.
It's much better. You always hope for more. It could never be enough, but it's much better. A lot of people that we put on Facebook, and we put it over here in our restaurant about the blanket, and literally customers walked in and dropped some money or checks or blankets or clothing, and people start telling other people, and so we got a great response as far as I'm concerned.
There were several containers that are being sent to Turkey, to the refugees. Who will be distributing those goods to the Syrian people?
The one I'm not aware of, the one they went through other organization or other individuals, it's basically by them themselves or some people on the ground they know. Keep in mind, most of the Free Syrian Army are civilians. They joined the revolution, so they call themselves Free Syrian Army. So those are the one I'm assuming they will pass them around to other civilians, men, women, children. So it's individual organization, not as much, but more individual than anybody else, that people are on the ground that are going to pass them to other people, the refugees basically.
Now, you had told me previously that you would be going to Turkey to distribute some of those goods.
That is correct.
When will you be going there?
Most likely I'm leaving on the 5th, between the 5th and the 7th of January, in the next week or so, so I should be there. The first container should arrive in January 1st, that's the estimate. So by the time it gets out of Marseille, the port, to take it inside the border, we're talking about 5 business days, more or less. So I should arrive at the same time. And as far as my container or our container is concerned, I will make sure I will go myself and start delivering, find out who needs what and how many, and I'm going to distribute it myself. So I'm going to do all the logistic down there, and I'm going to be in charge of it myself.
And are you going to distribute that within Syria or within Turkey or both?
Within Syria, within Syria.
Okay.
Turkey, they already, I mean, as horrible as the situation is in Turkey, still the Turkish government doing great. They're still helping all the refugees on their side of the border, and they're providing tents and camp and food and supply, so they're okay. We're talking about the refugees inside the border of Syria that the Syrian government trying to kill, and we're trying to protect and save. Those are the people I'm going to give the clothing for and the blankets.
How far into Syria do you think you'll get, as far as Homs or Aleppo, or just across the border?
My biggest concern right now to be on the border, as many as I can get to. If I have extra, definitely I will go the first city. I'll go to Aleppo or Hama or Homs or any other small city or village that they might need the clothing and the blankets. So we're going to start with the border moving forward. So we're talking about within 10 miles from the actual Turkish border inside the country, and then move forward.
Now, we talked in September, and you filled us in a lot about the situation there, and you talked about the Syrian army, the Free Syrian Army. How is the Free Syrian Army doing since the last time that we spoke?
Great. They're doing fantastic. They're doing really good. However, we always wish for better and a fast response from everybody else to help us to get the job done, get it over with. But as far as they are on the ground with any help, with any other help beside themselves, they're doing great. We got a lot of weapons. We don't need any more help from any outsider. We are about to get the job done in the next month or so. So we are very confident that there's a lot of defection right now from the generals of Assad himself. A lot of people leaving him. A lot of people are running away from him. They realize it's the end. His time is up. The clock is ticking, and it's not on his advantage. I think we're about to get him in the next month or so, if that.
So you feel that the conflict should be over as far as the civil war versus Assad would be within the next month to two?
Now, I wouldn't say it's a civil war. I would say it is a revolution he tried to make into civil war. The entire population of Syria, from different backgrounds, they all got together to fight the regime. However, he did make it into a civil war and tried to do that. I'm confident within a month or so we should get rid of him. And then it doesn't mean it's going to be peaceful. I think you're going to still find some, people on his side try to keep the war going, and we can take care of that immediately.
Some of the questions we've also had is, do you think there will be a civil war after Assad is put down?
Possibility. But the way I see things shifting, I see more generals and more the Free Syrian Army getting stronger by the minute. So if that happens, that's exactly what we wanted to happen, as a matter of fact, so they can take control of the country and put everybody in their place and prevent any civil war. So I hope it's not going to happen, no.
Okay. What are your opinions or your feelings about the role that Russia has played in supporting Assad?
Criminals. They are basically, straight to the point, they are criminals, each and every one of the Russian government, and we're not talking about the Russian people. We're talking about the politics of the Russian. It's always been with dictators. They are dictators themselves. They haven't been any help. They knew they've been slaughtering men, women, and children with their bullets and their machine guns and their planes, and they haven't done anything about it. As a matter of fact, they supported Assad for the past 48 years, and they keep on supporting him. So as far as I'm concerned, they are war criminal, and they should be tried in international court as well as Assad.
There were rumors that chemical weapons were used recently.
It's not rumors, it's correct.
Okay.
He did use them before.
And so you can confirm that those rumors are true then?
They are true. It is true. He's used them before. He used them in smaller scale. Everybody knows that. However, he did not use them in a larger scale for the entire international to declare war against him. He is very smart, very well calculated by the Russian and by the Iranian. They're telling him what to do, how much to use, what not to use. He have used them. Those are not rumors, those are facts. You asked me a few months ago if he used them. I said absolutely he will use them. As a matter of fact, he is going to use a little bit more on the larger scale. The closer we get to get rid of him and capture him, the more he is going to willing to use chemical weapons. If anyone will jump in, like the United States or the international community, jump in and prevent that, that would be awesome. I doubt it, but I'm sure he's going to use them in a larger scale.
What countries have provided help to the Free Syrian Army and what ones have not? Clearly Russia has been one of the ones not.
Honestly, I mean, I can't tell any other country or any country have helped the Free Syrian Army except the Turkish have provided some kind of humanitarian help for the Syrian people. As far as government, none whatsoever have helped directly the Free Syrian Army. Maybe indirectly here and there, but not directly. They haven't given us any weapon or anything to help us overcome the power of the regime, of the Assad regime. As far as the Russian, I mean, they've been helping him for 48 years. They're still going to help him for the last breath of his life. So they are criminal, as you know, they are partnered with him. So we haven't got any help. No.
Russia has obviously played a huge role with Syria in supporting Assad, but Iran also has played a role in that. What are your feelings on Iran and their role in helping Assad and his regime?
The same opinion I have about the Russian. They're criminal as well, and we know that. They're trying to do nuclear weapon as well, and we all heard about it. Israel wants to bomb them, the United States wants to bomb them. I think we should go ahead and do it, get it over with. They are criminals, they're crazy, they're fanatic, and I think if we allowed ourselves to turn our face to the other side and pretend they don't exist, and the evil inside their society or government, as a matter of fact, it does not exist, then we are lying to ourselves. As far as I'm concerned, being a Syrian citizen, I would like to see the Russian regime as well as Hezbollah and the Iranian regime put on international crime for crime against the humanity, against the Syrian men, women, and children.
We talked last time about some of the numbers that, in terms of casualties, and the officially recognized number is about 40,000, possibly as high as 45,000, and you had indicated those numbers were as high as possibly 70,000.
That's correct.
Let's talk again about some of those numbers and what the reality is of those numbers and why the officially recognized number you feel is low.
Well, whenever you have a war like this, first of all, I'm from Syria, so I know what they're capable of. I know what they can tell you and what they hide behind closed doors. Now, why do I think it's over 70,000 casualties? The official numbers are according to the United Nations, and those numbers based on whatever reports can get out of Syria. Facts. Now, how about the reports they can get out of Syria? Those are facts number two. United Nations, they go by reports. We know, if you know your entire neighborhood have been destroyed and you know there's 4,000 people, they've been gone, as an individual, for example. You can tell me, hey, I lost 4,000 neighbors. The United Nations, they need date of birth, names, last name, and evidence. We can get them. So therefore, we know for a fact over 70,000 casualties. Now, number one. Number two, we know there's over 100,000 plus supposedly in jail. And our experience with that regime, if you're in jail, you're dead. Or you might as well. You wish you'd be dead. So those, I consider them dead as well. And we have over 60,000 missing dead. So if I want to give you a number, I would jump from 70,000 to 150,000 dead, missing, jail, whatever you want to call it, they're gone. And I know the facts come 10 years later. We all know about that, about wars and stuff like that. So I can almost assure you, over 250,000 people, casualty, men, women, and children, have been disappeared or slaughtered or murdered in Syria, and we're going to find out later on, not right now.
You're going to be gone for how long?
I'm hoping to go for at least a couple of months.
Okay.
Now, if things turn our way over there, then I'm going to stay longer. I'm going to try to stay as much as possible to help with the rebuild and cleaning the country and whatever logistic support I can do in Syria. But I'm thinking about a couple of months, and hopefully by then when I come back we will have victory in our life, and we will talk about different things than the casualty. Hopefully we'll talk about rebuilding the country. So 2 months for the minimum average. If things turn to better, I'm staying there for longer. Hopefully it's not going to turn to worse.
So right now you're looking at a humanitarian mission, mostly to help the
That's what I'm looking for. That's what I've been doing. When I call myself Free Syrian Army soldier, it's just strictly humanitarian. That's what I do. Whatever I can do to my fellow citizen, Syrian citizen, men, women, and children, to help as much as possible.
So you don't have any desire to pick up arms and
No.
fight against the regime?
No. If my life is in danger, yes, I will defend myself. But I don't have any desire. We have soldiers on the ground. We are not in any possible way short of men willing to fight for their country. I'm willing to go over there and die for my country, but not fighting like soldier to soldier or with weapons. I'm going over there to feed men, women, and children, put some clothing on them, feed them, take care of them. That's my biggest mission. If I have to protect myself and I see myself under fire, definitely I will hold arm and start protecting myself. But that's not my mission.
Excellent. Well, that's all the questions that I have so far. Is there anything that you'd like to tell our audience?
Oh, God, be aware of what's going on. Being an American as well, I'm an American, I'm an extremely proud American, Syrian citizen. And I always tell every American, be aware of your surrounding and be aware of this great country that we have in this, over here in the United States. Don't take your country for granted. Being American Syrian, I know where I came from. I came when I was 21 years old to this country. So I know what we have in this great country of ours. Be aware of the whole humanity and help as much as possible. And don't take the United States for granted. Let's just be honored to be American and serve our country. As a matter of fact, we should serve our country with a pride. And we should, to me, help every person who wants to be an American by heart and soul. To me, America, it's heart and soul. More than, if you were born here, raised here, you don't feel you belong here, to me, you're not an American. To me, I know there's a lot of Americans out there, they've never been in the United States, but they are American by heart and soul. And that's my message to every American. Love your country, love your fellow human, and be American by heart and soul, not just by birth. That's the only message.
Thank you, Ayham. I appreciate the interview.
Well, thank you very much. Peter.